Welcome to Chinese0to-Hero.com. Before our first lesson, here's a quick introduction to the course. In HSK1, you're looking at learning about 150 Chinese words, and in HSK2, another 150, HSK3, another 300, and so on and so forth, until you get to HSK6, where you get 5,000 plus Chinese words. Right? So we're trying to start small. We're only aiming for 150 words. But we would like to build a solid foundation just so that you can build upon for all the other levels. We're trying to teach you all the characters and all the finer grammatical points and give you a lot of practice just so that you can really learn it well before moving on to the next level. We're actually going to use some textbooks for this video. The textbook we're going to use is called HSK Standard Course. It's got volumes from HSK1 all the way to HSK6. So if you need to buy the textbook, links are attached to the description of this video. Now, a question comes up, why do I need your video course if I already have a textbook, right? You're just going to follow the textbook, right? I am going to follow the textbook, but the video course adds a lot of value because number one, the textbook is not always easy to understand. If you look at the grammar points in the textbook, you find that it's not the easiest to understand. It's got a lot of jargon. It's pretty hard to follow. The grammar points in this video course are going to simplify that. We're going to make it understandable in a second. You're able to just get it, right? And we're going to give you ample examples and we're going to give you ample practice. That's number one. And number two is that throughout the video, I'll be using the native language a lot. I'll be using Mandarin Chinese a lot so that you can get more comprehensible input. And third, I'm going to give you some guidance on how to actually use a textbook. I'm going to tell you which parts of the textbook you can skip, which parts of the textbook you need to work a little bit more on, and I will give you more guidance on how to practice characters and how to do a pair activity and some project ideas at the end of each lesson so that you can put everything you learn into practice. Okay, so the lessons are set up this way. First, you have a warm-up. This is to stimulate your background knowledge and to get you thinking about the subject we're talking about today. And then we're going to look at the dialogue in the textbook and learn some vocabulary words. I'm not going to read the dialogue to you. There's audio provided in the textbook, but I'm just going to talk about some harder points in the dialogue and also go over some of the harder vocabulary words. And sometimes to give you a fresh perspective on these vocabulary words and different ways you can use them, so you get a better sense of how these words are really used. Now, this is the core of this course, grammatical points, right? I'm going to cover all of the grammar points covered in the textbook. And invariably, it's going to make it easier for you to understand because really the textbook is written almost like legal copy. It's almost like the contractual document that these lawyers put out. It's pretty hard to understand. Actually, the grammatical concepts are not hard to grasp at all. I'm just going to explain it in very simple English and give you some examples to illustrate the point. It's really not that hard. These grammar points also give you the tools you need for the most essential communicative functions, right? And then I'm going to guide you through pronunciation. There are a lot of sounds in Chinese that doesn't exist in English. I'm not going to systematically go over every Chinese sound because a lot of Chinese sounds do exist in English. I'm only going to focus on those that are unique to Chinese. And I'm going to try to get you to pronounce these sounds closely. Not perfect, but closely. Because at this point, it's not worth it to spend hours and hours and hours just to get your pronunciation just right. At this point, I think it's good to just focus on communicative functions, like being able to do something with the language rather than just getting it just right. If you want to get it just right, if you want to have a perfect Mandarin accent, if there's such a thing, if you really want to do that, in each pronunciation guide video, we have a resource section where you can look at some additional material to learn more about this pronunciation point. But for practical purposes, we're not going to go into every little nitty-gritty detail in pronunciation. We're just going to get you close. Okay. Last but not least is some pair activity exercise and some homework assignments and a final project. Now, this is the most critical part of each lesson. Right? You learn some vocabulary words, you learn some grammar, you learn how to pronounce words, but really, this part is what puts everything together. You're trying to learn how to communicate, right? You're trying to learn how to talk to people. You're trying to learn how to read. You're trying to learn how to write, etc. So in order for you to do that, you actually have to put it to practice, right? You have to put yourself in a situation where you're actually going to use the language. So that's why we have these pair activity exercises for you to do. It's true, like we don't all have somebody to practice with. Some of us might be the only one learning this language at this level. So if you do need a language partner, a great place to look for language partners is italki, right? Italki is this website that pairs up people who learn language together across the world. For example, if you're learning Chinese and you speak English, and across the world in China, there's somebody who wants to learn English and speaks Chinese, right? So italki is going to pair you up together so you can talk half an hour in Chinese and half an hour in English so that you can both benefit, right? So this is a great setup, and this will get your language skills up really quickly. And then you're going to have a homework assignment. And to wrap everything up in the lesson, we're going to give you a project to do. Right? These are really fun projects. For example, in the first lesson, we're going to learn how to greet. I'm going to give you a project that asks you to create a greeting card that says hello or thank you. Right? These pretty looking greeting cards that will get you to practice writing characters and get you think about everything you have learned in the lesson and create something cool. Right? After you create a greeting card, you can share it online, share it on Facebook, Instagram, you name it, on Pinterest. Yeah, you can create these fun projects and share it on social networks. You learn the language and you do something really cool with it. In later lessons, I'll even get you to start a blog, a Chinese blog. It will showcase your family photos, your videos, and you're going to write about these videos and photos. Really, it's going to be a very, very engaging experience for you as a learner. Thanks for watching. Now see you in the next video.